Sure. Can you repeat it, Anna?
Boyana, you have Roberto's and Philippe Corday's proxy vote, and Mustafa has Alex Linden's.
Well, actually, if I remember correctly, you can only have one proxy vote.
Okay,
I
then
think so.
Each person can only have one. I'm just saying that was the rule until now. So, I mean,
Anyway-
maybe Adriana can have the vice president vote, then you can have two other votes. I think that
Yeah.
makes sense. Do you agree,
Absolutely.
Adris?
Yes,
okay.
let's start the meeting around.
Okay, so can we vote on the minutes?
Yeah,
I added some notes. If you saw them, and you agree.
I didn't have a chance to see. Maybe can you please share the screen because you sent it last minute, and I wanted to ask Hannah if by any chance, Hannah, please to send a little bit earlier, because 2 days before the meeting, if we are very busy as we are now, it's very hard to go through the minutes. I read it on my way, but I didn't have a chance to see the changes that Argyris made.
Yeah, it's not Hannah's fault. It's my own. I was shooting until 2 days. So although I've gotten help, I got to her late. So
Okay,
my apology.
But it is too easy to read. I just read before the meeting. It's not so long.
It is, but anyway, it's always like a short deadline. It's better that we have that in advance. So just
last meeting it was in advance. It's unfortunately, you know, all of us at one point are shooting, and that's been the case for me. And I'll say something on that matter.
That's okay. I mean, I fully respect everyone working, and I understand. So we're fine. Whenever we can do anything in advance, that's cool. But if we are shooting, that's it. That's our life. It's most important at the end, right?
Okay, now on the issue of the Danish situation, I made a rephrasing saying that then a few months ago, the cinematographers and the rest of the co-authors joined them. The platforms chose to press as much as possible, and they stopped all production development instead of plane development. So they are shooting now what has started, but not developing anything for the future, which is causing a lot of anxiety. On the same afternoon, the authorship committee received a 90-page document, and the issue is that the producers are pressing the authors to give up everything. Point. The same applies to the screenwriters because they are the ones who are currently affected. Parenthesis, a major part of development being the scriptwriter. The good news is that unofficially, Netflix has offered to renegotiate, which is very positive. We have news on this because they already signed a temporary agreement with another platform. We deeply worry about this issue because Denmark has been an example for everyone. Now that was the one. Then on the platform evaluation, I added the phrase, Argyris suggested that this would be the best option, the big blue button IBV. And on the conference in Spain, I corrected it's for collaborating federations, not associations, notably IMAGO, Arsenico, Tempo, and EFSI. These are the federations of cinematographers, production and costume designers, film editors, and sound people. And it was said that there is no need for money as the authorship committee's balance on the budget suffices. The cost will be covered from this account. That's it. I mean, if you are okay, we can vote on.
Yes, thank you for those clarification, Argyris. So shall we vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
Denis, do you agree?
Okay, so it's
Adriana?
unanimous.
Yes, I just,
Yes, it is.
Oh, sorry. So the next issue, I'm sorry, I was trying to get the agenda on the other screen. Has to do with the presidency and the treasury. As you know, last meeting I had asked for within 10 days for a proposal to somebody to come up with a treasurer, and there was no news at all in this regard. So since I've been shooting a lot and I don't want IMAGO to suffer the consequences, for the presidency, I have hired with the funds as a freelance, and it's temporary, but I have hired the help of Marcela Bourseau, who is on the election committee, because she's a member of the ABC board, and she had time on her hand. So this doesn't affect the board or the work, it makes no difference in the funds, since this is taken from the stipend of the president. And she has, since nobody came up with anybody from the treasury, she's also helping me with the treasury, because it's a lot for only one person who's shooting to have both presidency and the treasury. So, we'll continue to look for somebody to do this. But in the meantime, she's helping me, and I just wanted to be transparent about that. Furthermore, I have spoken to FinAudit, and they said that they made a proposal to do the invoicing later on. For this month, I'm doing it with, because I think for this year, there won't be much to do left. We've started working on it with Marcela, because we need those funds. FinAudit, most people, it's August in Europe, as people go on vacation. So I just felt it that we do this still ourselves. But since I'm still treasurer officially, I'm the only one who has access to make payments. And that's about it in this issue. And you're welcome to comment if you want.
Is this a good and sustainable system for you, in order that you can make it with Marcela, and you feel okay with that?
Yes, for now. I mean, I do want us to come up at one point with a treasurer. I think the president shouldn't be the treasurer and vice versa. So this is a temporary arrangement. She's not a member of the board or the official treasurer. It's just temporary arrangement, and we'll see if we can find somebody to nominate as treasurer, and to be confirmed at the next IAGA. So this is it.
So basically, until next IAGA, we're gonna find a new treasurer, and we will make a voting at IAGA for the new treasurer. So this is kind of a time period to find that person. Okay, thank you.
Exactly.
May I?
Argyris, yes.
Yes. To begin with, apologies for shutting down my camera, but I'm on a cell phone connection and have no Wi-Fi here. And at some more points, I am not hearing you. So I agree with you. I think since you feel comfortable with this solution, go on, and we'll keep on looking for a treasurer to be accepted by the IAGA.
Thank you, Argyris.
I have
yes,
just a
Adrian?
question. We have in the past we had some difficulties to find someone to accept to be a treasurer. What is going to be our strategy to find someone, because be a treasurer, it's something difficult, because it's not easy to find someone inside of the IMAGO. What where can we find someone? I'm a little bit concerned about that because we don't have a lot of options.
Well, I think we have some months to work on this and to think about what the solution and could be, and you know, who could be interested in accepting the work of treasurer. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a member of the board. It was votes, and it was a vote, and so you know, we can look for that. But I think we can leave this for another, you know, further down the line, since it's at this point it's not an urgent matter. I think we have to look for somebody and broaden the spectrum. Maybe we have to in the future. Maybe it because we voted at the previous Yaga, or the previous, not this Yaga, maybe the one before that, that you know, no two members of one societies could be on a board, and that makes it a little harder also to find a treasurer. So if that treasurer is not a member of the board and doesn't have a vote, it could be probably from a society that's already on the board. I don't know what you thought about this. Yes, Audrey's?
I think this is some sort of constitutional about our statutes. If memory serves me, a treasurer is member of the board by definition after he's elected or she is elected. So we cannot say that, okay, we choose the treasurer, but then we decide that he's not a member of the board. But I think, what I think truly is that what we really need is an accountant for everyday work, which FinAudit is not doing. They are more auditing than accounting on us. And we need some sort of, I think, an accountant, and then the treasurer would only have to supervise, which is much less work, and it's much easier.
I understand, Audrey's, and I know your criticism about what was done by FinAudit in the past, and I agree. And this arrangement that was FinAudit for them to do the invoicing from, you know, when next starting January 1st, or maybe before, if that's the case, would still give a lot of work to the treasurer, because basically we would have to send them a list of who has to be invoiced and when, and all the correspondence will still have to be done by the treasurer and Hannah to remind people to pay and all that. And it was a lot of work just to invoices for me as treasurer to invoice the 39 full memberships. It took me 2 months. I had to do detective work. I had to, you know, to look to who to, and this was all the work that had been done by Roger in the past, which was a lot of work also. Yes, a lot of people didn't answer. Sometimes it took 14 emails back and forth for a membership to finally pay. So it's a lot of work, and I don't think whether it's FinAudit or any other accountant will do that work. You know, it has to be done by the treasurer, unfortunately.
I agree with you. However, we do have a secretary, and all this should be done by the secretary, not necessarily
Yes.
by the treasurer.
Well, if you heard what I said this work will have to be done by the treasury and Hannah. So
Yes.
and I had said that at the previous meeting. I said this wasn't. I think it was at the previous meeting. I think I spoke about that I was going to see with FinAudit. I had already spoken to them. What they did now is send me an invoice, not an invoice, a budget for how much it would cost IMAGO, which is 600 something, more like 700 euros to take care of the invoicing. But that's still a lot of work for the treasury. I mean, you still have to do the payment. The accountant's not going to be able to do this. But yes, Bojano?
So that amount is per month for FinAudit to do a treasury?
No.
To do...
No, that would be the year, but I'm not sure if they meant, I have to clarify it. That was them, if it was what they meant for the rest of this year, or if it would be for a whole year. That wasn't clarified.
So because I know that FinAudit is someone very familiar with IMAGO, and they're used to work with IMAGO. They know IMAGO, but still they're too expensive for us, and this is why we are looking for the other option for next year. Although no one is happy to go to the other option, because this one knows the system and the other one will have to get in the system. But anyway, it's too expensive. So would be the treasurer part, invoicing part, together with what is the fee for the FinAudit, would be acceptable for IMAGO, or we will still go to the other option for the next year?
Well, going to the other option is a lot of work to prepare that. So I think for that we need a treasurer. Well, I'll see if I can prep this change with Marcella. But at this point, I can't do it all. I mean, it's just to go to another audit company, another accounting company, because they do accounting also. It's a lot of work. So. You have to see if we can do that. Anyway, with Marcella, she already is looking at simplifying the system that we have now, which is a bit time consuming, and will be easier to communicate with FinAudit or whoever it is in the future. But I think that we could leave this for a future meeting and see what happens, and look. We do need another treasurer.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think, as people said right away when I was elected president, I don't think this function should be held by the same person. I don't think it's ethical. It's just that we don't have a replacement for up to now. I did offer it to Phil Corday, and he thought about it, and then for reasons that I fully understand, he said he couldn't do it. But we have to look for some.
Yeah, we should try it broader. There is always an option to make like an invitation, like invite to get some proposals from other societies that are not part of the board. So. Yeah, I mean, if we don't find, but we should put ourselves in some kind of a deadline to find someone with this method, and if not, we should go to another method, which is a public invitation, kind of a like for the elections. This is my program. This is it. I can be. I cannot be. This is my qualification. This is my previous experience.
I have some ideas, but I think it's I'd like to. Look into them further before I present it to the board. So I think we should move on, because we have a lot on the agenda, if you all agree.
Okay, thank you. So we're moving to the 30th year IMAGO anniversary.
Yeah, and for this I'll also mention Marcella, because she's also helping us on this. I'd like to include her in the 30th anniversary working group, because she's lived in Italy, she's fluent in Italian, and for this she's already in contact with Simone Mara, as I am also, who's the general secretary of AIC, and I've put her in contact with Ollie also. So I think we've already worked on a program, so I don't know if we want to discuss it here. I thought it would be more something for the 30th anniversary working group, but we've already come up with a temporary budget to see for Ali to have to find sponsors for the event. The dates would be people arriving on Sunday the 11th. The event would be on the 12th and the 13th, and that's it. So a big part of the budget is about plane tickets. But I think that before we present this to the board, I think we should work. You have a meeting within the group to clarify the strategy and all that. Yes, Marjan.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that although you had some move in the situation regarding Turkey, and they have some clarification with the Italian society, that's wonderful. I think that we should make as soon as possible the whole working group meeting to see and to delegate the tasks so we can help you, and you can tell us, and you can be for this task, and everything. So I think December is not so far away, and especially for planning a budget and finding sponsors, I completely agree that we should have a working group meeting as soon as possible. Of course, it would be appreciated to make a doodle again for the meeting for everyone, because everyone is very busy. Roberto is shooting in London. I'm starting to shoot. Vincenzo is also in Italy. So yeah.
No,
and
absolutely. We should have a meeting as soon as possible. I thought that it was too late. I thought it was I thought about having this meeting right after the board meeting, but obviously Roberta is not here, and people were not warned in advance, so I'm sure it's not possible. But yes, as soon as possible we should. Yes, Denis, please.
We are only a handful of active people, and myself, I'm not even very active at IMAGO, and with already so many things to do, I think we should turn to societies and ask them to designate or to find people to work on this committee about the anniversary. I mean, it seems always, and I'm repeating myself, and I'm the guy here who tends to say that we don't go enough to the societies and all, and this is not the time now to discuss that. And I agree, this is something we should be discussed in the future IMAGO future conference and all. But back to this anniversary, it will require a lot of work for a small group of people, I don't know, 5, 6 at most, and we are all very busy. Most of us are working, which is great, because it's good to have IMAGO board with active DPs. But I mean, we can't do that alone. So maybe we should not so much send a letter probably to all the societies, but also make direct phone calls. We could discuss between us who is calling whom, and say, hey, we need help there. Please find some guy in your board, in your own board or whatever, who is going to dedicate some of his time to that.
I think it's a good idea, Denis. I think for now, we do have a program that we've made up that has to be confirmed by the working group and then presented to the board. I think Marcela is very active with me, has been very active with me to get this moving, because everybody has been very busy. Before we call on other people and widen the involvement, maybe we should get a little more ahead, so it doesn't get more complicated. That's the way I see it. Maybe I see it wrong. I just thought we should have something more precise, and there is something that I need to show to the working group, but before we call on societies. But I think maybe starting September, we could do that, ask for more people to get involved, because yes, it will require, and I need more precision on how much involvement the AIC is going to give, have with the preparation of this. Simone Mar has been saying that he's ready to help us to make it happen, and Adriana had a good meeting at the Bogota fair.
The Richard market.
Yeah, with somebody who's a part of the Cinecittà board. He's the international director or something like that. I forgot what he's.
Yes, he is. Sorry,
He's a producer.
yes. He's the president of the Association of Producers, and also he has a work in Cinecittà. I don't know exactly what, but I'm going to.
He's international. He's responsible for international communication
Yes.
at Cinecittà.
That's it.
So I think
His name is Roberto Stabile.
yeah. So I've also spoken to Eric Guichard regarding this because he's very active with the AFC in organizing the micro salon, so he knows a little bit about what it takes to organize an event and understands the financial part of it. I've been speaking a lot to Ali also about this. So I think the foundation have been set. Now we need to go ahead and yes, we should involve more people from other societies, call on other societies to participate. So it's not all on the small group of people who are shooting.
Yes, I would really like to second Denis. I think it's a very good idea, and it's on the other hand, it's announcement for save the date. So IMAGO 30-year celebration will be from these to their days. We're gonna prepare the event to celebrate 30 years. I mean, it is a very big thing. When I say 30 years, and now we're part of this new generation IMAGO, I'm really excited. So it should be also some kind of a announcement, save the day. We are preparing this. Since IMAGO is a federation of societies, we truly invite everyone to contribute in our celebration, because it is our joint celebration. It's a celebration of everyone, not just of the board of IMAGO, not just of whoever was in a former board, president, whatever, but it's a celebration of everyone. So let's make our celebration festive together. So it's save the date, announcements, and invitation to be part of this. And yes, working group can be something like a roof for that. But maybe who knows what will happen with that communication. We make a meeting and we start. And of course, we need a hard and very important relationship with Italian society and everyone in Cinecittà. And those are Italians; they will know how to make an event. So. I really think that's a very good idea, and let's make that as a second step. And also, we said that we will make announcements, Camera Image, which is almost a month or 4 weeks prior to the celebration. So we should take the advantage of all of this to prepare people that something big will happen.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would like before we make the announcement is to have in writing the agreement with Cinecittà that we have the space and all that.
Very, very important.
So yeah, but in principle, they've said that it's available and all that. I just want to have it in writing, and then we can announce it. You're right, should as soon as possible, because people have to plan ahead.
While we were talking, I remember that the ex-president of Chile Association, Maura Morales, lives in Roma and worked in the past in Cinecittà. I've forgotten that, but I think we can contact her and maybe we can have in place someone to help us to do contacts and to talk to everybody. I'm gonna call her this afternoon, and I tell you after.
I know her also because of an editor who worked with Bertolucci, who put me in contact at one point when I wanted to do something in Italy. She's very nice and helpful. So.
Yes, she could help us. I didn't think about before.
And I also have a second thought regarding the future conference, and I didn't think too much about that. I didn't reconsider all parts, but I'm thinking if we are making a 30-year celebration, would be too much or wouldn't be too much to maybe try to organize a future conference in IMAGO in a very same occasion. I don't know what's our pros and cons. I don't know what you think about that. This is not something that I really reconsider deeply. I'm just thinking if we are going to put efforts to probably invite and meet in person with many societies, although we should have an option for the others to go online. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, it could be a big place, but on the other hand, it could be like, okay, this is the first 30 years. We need a future conference. Everyone agrees with it. We need a future conference to see. Maybe everything will be the same. I mean, but let's say that. Let's see. So I don't know. I'm just thinking. What do you think?
I think maybe we could add to the event maybe a discussion between the memberships that are present, but I don't think we should. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I don't think we should mix the two because we don't have much time to prepare the future conference, and I think it's not everybody might be able to be present. And the future conference, I think, should be an event that happens mostly online. I mean, that's my so everybody can have an opportunity to be there. That's my opinion. But maybe we could have, you know, a meeting where at least lay the grounds for what is, you know, personal. It's all, obviously it's better when people can talk personally, but I think to mix the two, I don't know, maybe I think the 30th anniversary should be about agreement and not disagreement. I'm sure the future conference might have involved disagreement between memberships. What do you think, Denis?
I love Boyana's idea. I think it's this future conference to me is way more important than personally the anniversary. And it's 2 years due now. I mean, Ron Johansson was supposed to do it, not 2 years, 1 year and a half, right, 2 years or 2 years and a half. I mean, we something really we really need. And if it's to go to Rome and just to say how great is IMAGO and it's so wonderful, we've been here for 30 years, honestly, I would probably not go. And I don't care much about these kind of things. And I think, on the other hand, that online or a mix of online and live gathering about discussing of what we want from IMAGO or for IMAGO in the future is the very important thing. So at least we should not exclude this idea, Boyana's ideas, and maybe think more about it before rejecting it for good.
Okay, no, sure. I mean, I'm not against it. One thing, the event is not just, so it's not just a celebration. What we've thought about the second day, and I think it was Vincenzo's. I mean, I had the idea of making round table, and Vincenzo suggested a theme. So we would invite 4 to 6 cinematographers to have a round table with an audience that would involve also the students of la Scuola Sperimentale di Roma and Centro Sperimentale di Roma, and to discuss, in the theme that Vincenzo suggested would be cinematography in the next decade. So, you know, people could discuss and have a dialogue on which way cinematography is going. We can change the theme. I thought that was a good idea. So it's not just a celebration. It has also a constructive and interesting part to it.
Yeah, for me it sounds good. Yeah.
Sorry, Bogdana, this is with different.
Yes. Can you hear me? Now, I think that Boriana's idea is very good. And I believe there are ways to mix things. I mean, listen, now it's just occurring to me, so it's a bit blurred, but I think that if we make first, at least the first part of the future conference, or the exchange of ideas instead of, because we need an exchange of ideas, we need ideas. And this was part of the old committee, no, the old working group job, how to bring ideas to the table so they can discuss in a second phase of the future conference. I think we could make it live and online at the same time, streamed with people from the societies being able to participate, to interfere live. I don't think it's very difficult technically. And we could spend, let's say, 3 or 4 or not, certainly no more than 5 hours on this part. So let's say in the morning, we do the first part of a future conference in a mixed live and online session. Then in the afternoon, we do the discussion with the cinematographers and all these things. How do you feel about that? I mean, it just occurred to me.
No, we can do that. The idea was first to have the celebration and films projected of all the associations, the full memberships, to have a few minutes each, and maybe an introduction by president or member of each association, with in the end the suggestion by Adriana that was used as publicity for on TV, if I remember correctly, that without cinematographers, you don't have cinema. Something like that, right, Adriana?
Yes. Okay. That's
So that was, so there was this projection that would, I don't know, we'd have to calculate what the best length is, and then the celebration itself, and honoring the founders of IMAGO, and then the next day was planned the round table. So we could have it either the first day or the second day. We could have the foundation for the future conference online. I had also thought about the celebration itself being streamlined on YouTube anyway. But maybe we could have a system where people, although they're online, can also have their say, as it would be, make it a future conference. Maybe not necessarily vote anything at this point, but have the discussion. So to me, I think it's a great idea. Yes,
Nigel,
Nigel?
yes.
I think Denis had the right idea when he talked about talking to our societies. And within our societies is the nucleus for the essence of IMAGO, which I think, represented by ourselves, is to be seen in the committees. So if we had the suggestion of an online, offline kind of conference, we put the idea soon, because things really need to be worked out. We put the idea soon to each of our vibrant societies, committees, like the technical committee, the education committee, the working conditions committees, that we should hold within this meeting, which you're proposing we're proposing in Rome. We should have maybe in one day you could organize a series of conferences. You could have a 2-hour slot, a 2-hour slot, a 2-hour slot, and you could actually have it internationally, and you could actually get some people there too, because this is what we must do there, is to get people, international cinematographers, to Rome. And that is not going to be easy unless we have a good reason for getting them there. And a conference is always a good reason.
Oh, one of the things, and we'll have to see in terms of budget, then, because we don't have the sponsors yet. But I think this should not be an event where just the board is present. I think we should have members from all societies present, and we have to see. One of the idea that it came up, but it'd still be very expensive to have maybe for IMAGO to the budget from the event would pay half of the tickets of the member to come to Rome. And I mean, so far we're looking at more than 30,000 euros of plane tickets. So we'll have to see how much we can get from sponsors. That's it's going to take money, but I think yes, everybody should be present. Yes, Denis.
Who is flying whom? I mean,
why are we flying?
should not the societies send their members without us paying the flying tickets?
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll try for that. Actually, this was a suggestion on the talk I had with Ehegisha. And if all the societies, I know there are societies that they're going to have a hard time paying for a plane ticket. I mean, just look at some societies might have a member who was in Europe at the time, and that would be great. I mean, I'm thinking, for example, of the Argentinian society who had financial trouble. For them to send somebody from Argentina to Rome, I'm sure is going to be a great difficulty. So all this has to be defined. It hasn't been defined. It has to be discussed within the working group and then within the board. I mean, we're discussing it now. It's obviously we've had only one meeting for the working group, a Rome working group. So the rest has been done by myself with Marcella. So we need more input. I think thinking about it, the future conference part is going to make the event more important and more productive for sure. Because I was in the idea that the future conference would happen before the next IAGA, but if we can do it this year in December, great.
Well, may I ask a question, please? On your working committee now, are there representatives from the IMAGO committees themselves? For the technical committee, for example, they will do anything. They will put on a show. They're very vibrant. The education department is excellent, and the working conditions will get anybody anywhere. And within
Adriana is a member of the ITC, so she's on the working group, and nobody else who I invited at a board meeting. I said who would be interested, and no other people.
So,
It was announced publicly. He asked by email who wants to be part of the committee.
Nobody answered.
So Adriana, I second Adriana if I'm correct that I understand. So sending the email to all committees. We are preparing 30-year celebration. Would you be in a working group? Is that what you say? That sounds, yeah.
Yes. You asking me? We asked only in the board meeting group.
Yeah.
Maybe
it was only on the board, but there is
board.
on the board. We do have a representative from the education. He's actually the co-chair of the education committee, Philippe Corday. I mean, people have heard of this, and nobody came forward. We can widen all I'm saying is that for the beginning, so we do get some work done. We shouldn't have a huge group. And then once things are more defined and then tasks that can be distributed, then we should involve more people. But I think first of all, we should have that meeting, and then see if we widen the group. Because my experience is sometimes when there's too many people, then nothing gets done.
After hearing your arguments and everyone that you said, I'm thinking maybe that first part of the future conference, at least to start, or maybe to start the survey, although there's been a survey, but maybe to start to collecting ideas, not to go into discussion, at least that small part to start, and then to develop further discussion that would lead to the conclusions that we need from the future conference. So I don't know, I completely agree. This is only, throwing ideas at the moment. Let's see all the aspects and what it takes with whoever is in a working group and with you, Mustafa, and let's see if we can develop this for the December, or we just announce, or we just make a survey, or we just collect the ideas. Let's see what is realistic.
I think although surveys were done in the past, maybe we could still send, things change and people might have new ideas. So I think we can throw a survey and get the feedback before, so we have an agenda, a working agenda for the future conference. So it's not just just a wide spectrum of discussion.
I feel that the future conference is a separate working group than the working group that's about the 30-year celebration, because this is such a wide thing. So I think actually that if we go into that, we need to have more people that will be dedicated only to the organizing the future conference. And you probably know who is the best to invite first, and then to wider the list of people that are going to be in that group.
Yes, Argyris, you had your hand raised.
Yes, I'd like to say that according to my experience, and I believe now I heard you again on the invoicing, that it's more generic, that people will not answer a survey, not at half of them, maybe. And I think we should try somehow to make this sort of brainstorming more appealing. So let's, for December, not call it a future conference. Let's call it gathering of ideas or whatever. I don't know, something more appealing, more pleasing, so that, come on out, give us your brainstorming, give us your ideas, and we'll sit down and organize them and put them together and bring them to you back. But let's not call it a conference yet. I think this will be, a reason for them not to attend. sorry, I'm saying, I don't mean it, but trying to make a point here.
Yeah, I wanted to propose the same thing. I agree.
Yes, I think, we need to find some sort of marketing tricks to get them here. They don't answer who needs to be, where the invoice has to go. They don't answer surveys. They don't answer anything. They have too many jobs to do. Their societies are not their first priority because they're very, very busy. And they forget also. Okay, people forget. If it's 15 days over, then they have forgotten about it.
No, yeah, you have a good point, Argyris, and a good suggestion about maybe calling it something else. I have absolutely nothing against it. I think all this has to do actually with the next thing on the agenda, which is communication, which has, I think, needs to be bettered between IMAGO and all societies. I think we really need to make an effort on that. And should we still speak about the future the future conference, or whatever we want to call it, or in the 30th anniversary, or can we move on to the next?
I'm fine with moving on. I don't know if we need to, yeah, I'm fine with moving on. I just don't know if it's needed to vote for something, but we all agreed that this is just a developing thing. So I think we're fine.
But I think we all the presents, everybody's who's here agrees to include part of the future conference or whatever it's going to be called inside the celebration.
At least to consider including it. At least to consider including it. Maybe we figure out that it's going to be anti celebration. I don't know. At least let's try to think on these ideas that we now put on a, yeah.
Okay. So regarding the next issue on the agenda, let's see, which is the communication. We have a working group also. We've had also little time to get together and speak about it, but we have met. And we had a presentation by Ale Braga from Brazil, who's a director. He started from an ad agency. He was at McCann, was it McCann? I think one of the big agencies.
McCann Erickson, yes.
Yeah, McCann Erickson. And from that, he went on to be a director and screenwriter, which he's been doing for over 10 years. And during the pandemic, he went back to getting involved with an ad agency because everything had stopped here in Brazil. So he made a presentation that I spoke about at the last board meeting. I think I showed everybody what his presentation was, but obviously we had a meeting with him and that was much more productive because it was him explaining what he had in mind. So I personally think it's a very important thing that we should dedicate time and money to at IMAGO, and I think we need to vote on if we're going to go ahead because so far he's been doing it without charging IMAGO for it. But obviously, if he goes further, it's work, and it's a lot of work. So I believe it's worthwhile dedicating the money we have in communication to that and going ahead. So I would like us to vote on this. Yes, Bojana?
I'm sorry, I'm guilty. I didn't have time to see the meeting, so I'm completely uninformed. And maybe if you can, as well as the other parts of the board, probably. So maybe if you can just tell us very quickly what was the conclusion from the meeting and what would it take. And my second question is, did you have a chance to talk about that with Oli, since this communication part is also his part of the job in IMAGO? So maybe just to tell us what we are voting for, because I don't feel comfortable not knowing what is actually the deal, and maybe everyone else don't know. So,
well, obviously, the idea to go ahead, he would, I would send a document on in writing, so we can all see it's not just talking, just words. And Oli is involved, and I think I've told him that I think he should be part of the communication working group, because he's an essential part of communication. He's in contact with our sponsors. He's in contact with all the publications, and he has good ideas. It's been all the talks I've had with him lately have been very productive. So I think he has to be involved. Basically, is setting up a strategy that would involve everything, the podcast, the Instagram, the website, which I think needs, which is an essential part of the communication changes that have to be made, because I think the website as it is not very appealing, and it's not being accessed by many people. And I think I had said we should develop an app. Wasn't my idea at first. I forgot who it was. But looking into it, he says that it's not necessarily a good thing, and we'll spend a lot of money on it. Higisha himself told me that just the AFC had to spend another 10,000 on their Sinedico, which is a translating app, because of the changes made by Apple and Adobe. So he thinks it's not really going to be used. He's looked into the app from other people and he spoke to 10 other professionals, and they've all said that an app would be a waste of money. So I think we could still consider it in the future. I was all for it. As you know, it was part of the program. But I think it's before we do that, I think we should use the tools that we have, which are the website, Instagram, the podcast, and all the other existing communication tools that do exist, before we throw money into something that's going to consume a big part of the budget. I hope you all agree. Denis agrees. Algiris?
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to one question and one thing to say. The question is, how much money are we talking about? Because I understand such people tend to be expensive for a reason, not without reason. If they are going to deliver us results, we need to pay some money. But the question is, can we afford it? And the second is that, yes, I agree. It's not about having apps and all that stuff. It's about, hello Vincenzo. It's about having content that interests people and going to as many as possible. I mean, listen to look at the ASC. They're addressing any cinematographer in the world, in the planet, whether he's their member, any society's member, or whether he just shoots news. Everybody looks to them. So we're not as big. We are much smaller. But you know, we have to find a way to make people interested in IMAGO, and then things will go on. Now, for this, we definitely need a professional. How much, and if we can pay him or her, I don't know. That's it.
Well, the budget so far is 2,000 to get the project started, and then we'd have to see in the future. We'll have to see within the budget that we have what can be done. But I think we should go ahead, and we have an opportunity to have somebody that has a foot in both worlds. Let's say he knows about communication from being from an ad agency, and he's been a director also, so he knows what it is to be on a film set. So I think he understands better than most people at ad agencies, and we do need somebody from communication. I think we have a good opportunity to get moving on this, and I think it will benefit everybody. The memberships, IMAGO itself, which is a society of, as Denis said, and Luciano reminded us, we are a federation of societies, and not a federation of cinematographers. We should not be aimed to be a super society, but still, I think we should also talk to cinematographers and be a hub of information, because so far I think I see it within my own society and with some members of other societies. They know about IMAGO, but they really don't know what IMAGO does. Some of them know that there are committees that do important work, but they put kind of IMAGO on the top, like the castle on top of the hill, but really don't go past that. And I think that we need to make IMAGO more relevant, not just. But I do believe. That said, that IMAGO's main purpose is bilateral, a hub so societies can talk within each other and have the committees do work and represent all the societies, whether it's working conditions, whether it's authorship, where authorship can be, rights can be fought for, and education and all that. I think IMAGO needs to be better at communicating what it does.
So, excuse me, but will this gentleman be happy to do it for 2,000 euros only?
No, this is a beginning, Arduris. Obviously, I think if you want, because so far, not many people were. Bojana wasn't there, couldn't be there at the working, the communication group presentation. But if you feel it necessary, I can see if we can call him, schedule another board meeting before a month's time where we would just do this, a presentation by him. So we could vote on it, because I really think we need to get moving.
Excuse me for interfering now, making a dialogue, but I'm not negative about him working. Just I'm wondering, have you spoken to him about how much money we have or we don't have, as a matter of fact? Because that such a strategy could easily be costing 20,000 instead of 2,000. And he may not have realized that, or I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not at all negative, and I don't need personally to see the presentation. You have reported a few things on the previous meeting, and I'm okay.
I understand. Well, he doesn't have a budget of how much it's going to cost, because to have a final budget of all he can actually start working on all that. But to have a final budget, he needs to move ahead. I think it's important to do it, and I think it's surely won't be money wasted for IMAGO. I think it's one of the main things we should do. I mean, so people know also more about the committees. This whole communication involves all aspects of IMAGO. And I think, Adriana, you wanted to speak, and then Nigel?
Yes, I was in the presentation and I really liked this presentation. I don't know if we can propose him something that the communication must be by us, because we know what we are communicating, but we have to have a strategy, and to make some question about our essential being. So I think there is some in the presentation. There are some points that could guide us to have a strategy of communication. In the past 2 months, I was wondering about that, because we invited Thierry Arbogas. Thierry Arbogas was in Colombia, and we invited him, and I talked about IMAGO, and he answered, "What is IMAGO?" And I was very shocked, very concerned about that. If a cinematographer doesn't know what is IMAGO, we're in problems because I can imagine that. So I think the strategy can Braga give us could guide us for the path we have to work on the communication. Maybe we can propose to have a strategy, and the strategy is our committee of communication that must to work on it.
Yeah, before I give the Denis speaks, just answering Argyris, he knows the funds are limited for now for communication, so it's not like he expects there'll be 20,000 available, and the communication will involve the people like Ollie, like Alex for the website. I mean, we'll use Bojana, whatever people who can do part of the work, who are part of IMAGO, will be done, but some of it will have to be hired out. So basically, he's somebody to have a strategy as somebody who knows about communication to get us started in the right path, because he's been looking at the Instagram. He saw the Instagram has been growing. I mean, he has good ideas, and he had a lot of questions. What does IMAGO? What is IMAGO? Where does IMAGO want to go? But he has looked obviously at our website, at other websites of individual societies. He's looked at the Instagram and other Instagram. For example, he says, IMAGO's Instagram, although it's fairly recent, has grown steadily, but it's something less than 4,000. When ABC has something like 27, he spoke about the Canadians have more than 30. So we're far away from having an audience, which is important, which is an audience that it's not about competing with individual societies. The project of Instagram with Bojana is something that has been a success with societies, because they've been able to share with other societies their images, and he has good ideas regarding this, because he said it shouldn't be just images, there should be links, it should start discussion, it should go further. He thinks we have a good tool, but we're not using it fully. So
yes, sorry for interrupt. That's completely correct. We just started with this one because we needed that all those societies know that there is IMAGO and Instagram. But you and me, Mustafa, we spoke about that we need curator of our Instagram, or someone who is going to work with social media, who knows all the tools to do that. Of course, that's very important. And I'm sorry for just jumping in. Because you said so many times that we have to include all in that, because in our budget, all is partly in charge of communication. So everything that's about communication must be, all is part of work, and this new part of work should be something that's added on top of what all should do anyway, because we still have it in our budget communication that all is in charge. So this is only what I wanted to be clear, that he will be like a head of the communication, but he needs other people to be inside as Oli, Alex, and whoever is going to be.
Exactly.
And, okay.
I'm sorry, Denis, I interrupted you. You wanted to speak about Thierry Arbogast, I believe.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say that Thierry Arbogast is a great, wonderful director of photography, but I have never seen him at the AFC in 30 or 40 years. And I'm not surprised he doesn't know about IMAGO. He doesn't care 1 second about the AFC. Why would he care about IMAGO? Which doesn't change the fact that we need communication, of course.
We need to be we need to have a sex appeal. I don't know how to say that, to everyone around the world that make cinematography must to know about IMAGO. We need to change something to be more appeal. I don't know if the word that
Yeah. I think it's the word, Adriana.
I think for the moment we have an image that is not appealing the cinematography, and we must to change our work is the same. It's okay, our work, but it's not known, and it's not enough appealing. We have to change our look and to show what are we doing, because I think it's very important what we are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I see that was in, like I said, was in ABC. Obviously, ABC is a recent full member of you know, because before IMAGO didn't have, it was a European federation. So, but still, a lot of people say, "Oh, IMAGO, that's great and all that," but they know very little. They don't access it, and if the members of individual societies don't know more about IMAGO, then I think IMAGO is less relevant within the society. For the, I think it's important we have these exchanges with societies, but it shouldn't be just the board of societies that have that interact with IMAGO. I think the individual cinematographers should know more and be more interested in IMAGO to make it more relevant. And I think we'll get more sponsorship if we do that. I don't know what your
strongly
thought.
disagree. I think, I mean, once more, we're talking about communication, and yes, I agree, communication. Communication with whom? Directly to cinematographers? Why? Why do we have something to say to them? I mean, the work we need to do, and I sent you, Mustafa, a few months ago, some kind of memo on that, and I never really heard back about it, is we need to organize communication direct back and forth regularly with every society. We need to organize communication between the IMAGO committees and the relevant symmetrical societies committees. I mean, there is, for instance, at the AFC, an education committee. Has he ever had any connection with Philippe Corday? Never. That's one of the many problems. So, and why? I don't say that it should be secret, it should be hidden, but before trying to appeal to film students or young cinematographers, so they visit our website and we have a little more money from our sponsors, I think we should do what we need to do, which has almost never been done. Which is to communicate with the societies which are our members and the raison d'être of our federation.
I understand that, Denis, but what I see, for example, at ABC, I'm, obviously being the president of ABC and having been a member of the board of the previous administration, I see that even within the board of ABC, people look very little to they say, "Oh, IMAGO, that's great, you became the president of IMAGO," but concretely, I've asked people to create a working group to know more about IMAGO, to have proposal for the future conference, and it hasn't happened. And I think for that, if we have better communication with cinematographers, and I'm not saying that we're trying to have an audience of the cinematographer. I think it's with societies, but with cinematographers of the societies, we don't reach them, and I think we need to reach them better. And if we do that, I think the societies will also get more involved with IMAGO. I think for now, somehow, they send a representative to IMAGO conferences. Some people are elected to the board, but there's very little interaction. That's the way I see them. Obviously, I have my experience from a Latin American society who's been, like I said, recently become a member of the federation as a full member. But I don't know if it's that different with AFC or the BSC or whatever other society. Yes, I'm sorry. There was Adriana, Argyris, and then Nigel.
Yes, that only here talking, we have different objectives, and that's precisely why I think we must to have a strategy. And for me, the most important thing is to highlight the importance of the director of photography, of the cinematographers. I think in the last decade we lost importance in set, and we are losing our we used to be important, but we are losing that. That's why I think in the production system currently, or actually, I don't know, our main objective should be to recover this importance of the image in the cinematography. That's my point of view. Maybe it's not the same of when I talk about the to have appeal. I'm not thinking about something trivial. Do you think
Trivial?
trivial? You
Yes.
don't think- I'm not thinking in a triviality. I'm thinking in we are very important in this industry, and I think we are losing that. That's all.
Argyris?
Yes, starting from what Adriana said, I'm not very optimistic on the thing that because when I was, let's say, 25 years old, long ago, I used to say that we are going to leave the times where there will be no cinematographer on the set, because I was seeing that things were going where they now are, and it's very difficult. You know that I'm fighting for cinematographers actively, and this does not mean that I'm not a realist. Things are working against it, and the more easy it becomes to film, the more difficult are things for us. So yes, I agree that we need to communicate a lot to everybody, even to non-cinematographers. Now, to change the subject a bit, I'll make an hypothetical example. Suppose Argyris is a young cinematographer, which I'm not, and he is not member of any kind of society. And he learns about IMAGO, and he reaches the office and says, I want to be a member of IMAGO. What will IMAGO answer to him? Definitely, IMAGO will say, you cannot be a member of us. You have to become a member of your own society in your country, and then you will be represented by your society in IMAGO. That's all about it. I mean, nothing can stop this, can change this. This is the fact. There is no competence between IMAGO and its society.
Competition, you mean?
Competition, yes, excuse me. Working towards a more general acceptance of the role of cinematography. Working towards being, respected more, both in and out of the set, has nothing bad. And this needs communication. And communication has to go all the ways. Yes, we do have to establish communication between committees in various, between, let's say, the Education Committee and the French Educational Committee, the AFSE Educational Committee. Yes, of course we do. But things can go in parallel. Things are never linear. We do this and then we do that and then we do the third. The things have go as a bunch all together. That's the way things proceed. Life is not linear. It's not just a straight line. We do this and then the second and then the third. It won't work. Apologies, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Argyris. Nigel?
There's no doubt that we need a better website. And on my, a bit like Brianna, I'm really not able to make a constructive vote on this issue until I have more information. You've given me quite a bit of information now, thank you. But I mean, any website is only as good as the people who are putting the information into it. And not only that, but as good as the people who are putting it back online. And I remember when we started our website on IMAGO, going to the best in Europe, which was the French, and it probably still is. I don't know any better. And now we have the Americans there too. So you have a tremendous experience on how to really run a website. And the French did it in a simple way. They had a little office in the middle of Paris, and every day they had 2 or 3 men who came in there, retired cinematographers, and they did a fantastic job. So that is what we're faced with. How do we get this information? If we don't put them information, give it to them, where's it going to be? Where's it going to be? Who is going to be in charge of it? That we need to know too. And you talk about the results this gentleman has done. I've forgotten his name again, but I haven't seen them. I can't judge. You can tell me that the Instagram has done whatever it is, has done very well. Maybe it has got the people looking at it, but that doesn't tell me that the IMAGO website is going to be any better as a result of what he's done. What has he actually done? Which is give us. I can go back to my board in the BSc and say this should be done. And when we're talking about boards, I completely agree with Denise that the problem we have is that the societies are not communicating with IMAGO, although that's bad enough, and IMAGO with them is bad enough. We're not communicating with our own members, so our own members don't know what's happening, don't know what we're doing. I mean, if this is we're 30 years away from the beginning, and I would say that the people who founded it, the French, Italians, Germans, and the British, should be invited to, first of all, have some kind of maybe contribute. Let them do it. They're part of IMAGO. They should be contributing towards the success of this 30 years celebration, and let them come up with ideas. Do it now, so we can come back with it. My board doesn't really even know it's 30 years. This is shameful, but they don't care because they've not getting any information from anybody. So that's what I would say. But we need to improve the website. We need to have a good website for sure. Let's hope this guy can.
Borzana, just let me answer. You hear me?
Yes,
yeah.
I can.
Yeah, what I wanted to say in this regard, the communication for what we're going to put on the website instead of or send on our newsletter. The idea is, and we talked about it with Borzana and Adriana and some other people, is instead of paying a cinematographer to write articles to put on the newsletter on the webpage, to invite societies who have articles. I think the Hegisha said that if we needed to put the articles from the AFC, we could have access to them, and which is good for us, for societies, because again, we don't want to compete with the societies, but if we can make their work more visible on IMAGO, I think it's a good thing, and we'll have content. The idea is not to pay for content, but we have to have somebody that's in charge of that, because if not, everybody's busy and thinks we're cinematographers. We're not people who know that much about communication. I mean, that's my idea. We should definitely have a professional.
I think that's excellent. I mean, the BSc, if you ask the BSc to put the articles which are appearing, which are put in the magazine, but written for the BSc very often, or if there's an agreement between the BSc and the whatever it's called, British Cinematography Magazine, then that should be with IMAGO. The agreement is the same thing. So anything that's put on for the BSC's advantage is for IMAGO's advantage, and the same should be with the French. But there's unfortunately nationalistic thinking is it wouldn't help. It would not harm. The BSC would be delighted to do it. I can assure you.
Yeah, no, well, not the BSC, but with British cinematographer, I've spoken to Zoe, and lately Stuart has written to me. So I think we'll all benefit from this, and this is part of the communication strategy, is to for people, if they go onto an IMAGO website or they receive the newsletter, they know more about what's going on societies and their publications if they have one. I think we all have to gain from that.
So where is the idea for the way in which this website is going to be set up? Can anybody explain that to me, so I can explain to my board what we're paying, whatever figure it is we're paying for?
Well, this person would be in charge of the whole communication strategy, obviously listening to what we want. It's not about him deciding IMAGO is going to do this and that. He has looked at things and he says, you have to make progress. You have to change this for the Instagram, for the website and all that. But he wants obviously our input, the ideas of the changes. It's not about him deciding what we want. It's him suggesting, I think you should make changes here because it can get better. You can have better reach, make it more appealing. All this is what he would be in charge of. Yes, Bojana.
I just wanted to second you. He knows tools, how to reach to the specific target groups, but that we tell him to reach. So if we tell him to reach societies, he knows the tools and targets with some kind of communication strategies to reach that. If we say reach students, which will not, but if we say he knows how to reach them. So it's a complex strategy. And I would like just to say that after you clarified, and I'm sorry I was not able to be at the meeting, but after the clarification, I'm always the first that would highly greet whoever is going to be in charge of a communication strategy. So let's just say that that person is like a general communication strategy, but still we need to be involved. And we target, is that societies, is that committees, is that cinematographers, is the general, like producers, to get how cinematographers are important. It's all together in a strategy. So I really thank you for your clarification, and I agree for going into that, because I know nowadays as a younger cinematographer how communication is important. That's what I wanted to say. So it's a strategy, it's tools to reach whatever we say we need to reach. So he will not say you need this, we need to say what we need.
Yeah, no, what he's been doing already in his presentation, saying, I see this and this that can be better. But the final decision, if we agree or not, it's IMAGO will decide this, not him. He's not going to impose anything on us. All he sees as somebody who knows communication, it says, I think you should, first of all, he's asked the question, what is IMAGO? Who do you want to reach? And then he says, well, you can get better at it if you change this, if you do this, and he will suggest a strategy to us, but he will only go ahead if we give him the agreement, and we can ask things from that we want to add or subtract. We'll still, it's not, we're not going to give him full power on deciding what where IMAGO is going to go in terms of communication. That's not the idea. As it would be, as somebody who was an ad agency, it's also always the client, whether you're trying to sell soap or whatever, promote any product, it's what the client wants.
Do we have any example of a website in which he is connected, please?
Oh, no, he's not somebody that does website.
Oh.
He's not a website designer. He's somebody that works as at an ad agency, and it was in charge of strategy. This is what, you know. Obviously, he would work with somebody that would better the website, but he's not a website designer. It's not
So
his.
what will the total cost be, including the designer, then, please?
Well, to start doing the work, it would cost to charge to start changing the website, and this would involve the work with the people who are already at IMAGO, Ollie, Alex, and whoever is in the working group, the communication working group, even Hannah also. We would be 2,000 is what he's asked for. Now, we could either vote on it for now if we want to go ahead, which I think we should. But if you want, besides having a presentation for the working group committee, or not committee, the working group, communication working group, I can ask him if he would be available to do this again for the board. But then, in a way, it's kind of besides the point of communications working group.
I mean, I think if you've had this meeting and you and whoever else was at the meeting are satisfied, personally, I think that amount of money would be quite reasonable to give to him.
I agree.
Adriana, you were
Me too.
there at the meeting at the presentation. Do you think
Yes.
we should go ahead?
I think so. I think it's important, but I understand all the points, but I think we have to ¿cómo se dice? Hacer un giro. To
Giro, no entiendo lo
take a break,
que
hacer un cambio radical en nuestra estrategia de comunicación. To
Oh
make
yeah,
a
no,
break.
she's to make a to make a radical change. I think expresses better what you want to say is in our communication. I think what we really need to get moving.
Sorry, I'm not saying that because of this conversation specifically. Bojana knows that I think about it. Even in past administration, I was always concerned about the web page, the communication. I think we need to make a really hard change to impact with the subjects we think are important.
I think we'll be able to mobilize the memberships much better if we communicate better with them. I think we have to start getting that exchange. And as Nigel said, it's a problem that doesn't exist only within IMAGO, within society. I know within my own, we don't communicate, and that's also what I want to change. We need to communicate better with our memberships, because some people say, oh, you know, we have a list, we have the event once a year, but they should know more about what we're doing and what the work involves, and make the society more relevant in that sense. So we hear what they want, it's, you know, it's the whole idea of the future conference is so they feel that the society really represents them and that has their ear, and vice versa, because sometimes even some of our members, when we send invoices, their email has changed, their phone numbers has changed, and we can't even reach them. Sorry, somebody from my society, sorry. Oh, sorry about that.
Maybe somebody around my door.
And yeah, that's it. But if you don't mind, should we vote on this or wait for?
Please.
Can we vote? You agree to vote, Argyris?
I think we should vote.
Okay.
I can hear Gilles. What did he say?
He said we can vote.
Okay.
He said,
Let's vote. We need to break eggs in order to make an omelette.
okay. So I give 2 votes, Alex in mine.
Oh, just a proverb.
Yes, Argyris? Oh, your hand.
I'm
Yes,
for.
your hand.
Yes, I'm for it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So that's 3 votes. 4 votes with Denis, 5 with Adriana, Vincenzo 6, and 7, 8 with Bojana, and Nigel. We have 9 votes. Great. Thank you very much. I think that will be very important for IMAGO. Now that since Vincenzo entered after we spoke about the 30th anniversary, I know that you haven't been able to have exchanges with us, but we did talk about the 30th anniversary. I've been in contact with Simone Mara and Marcella Burso, who's lived in Italy and who speaks fluent Italian, who's a member of ABC's board and who's on the election committee, is working with me at the presidency and the treasury. And she's also been now in contact with him, so we get moving. And it was suggested that we add part of a future conference that might be or not be called this to the event in Rome, to the 2-day event in Rome. So just wanted to fill you up on this, and if you have anything to add. You're muted.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry very much. Please, my apologies for being late. The fact is, you know, Mustafa also wrote, I have some family issues, but also I'm now a start pre-production. So been very hectic times. And as soon as I finished today here, it's night because I'm back to India. And so I came online. I knew about that because I haven't replied to your email, but after you wrote to me, I talked to Simone, and he was telling me there were some issues also with his email, but I know that it has been initiated, the conversation. So, yeah, I'm over there. I'm part of a smaller group that is supervising that things go smoother. So I'm in touch with Simone and also with Daniele. Daniele is also busy with something else. I think Simone will be our main reference, our main contact.
Yeah, Daniele never answered to me, and I spoke to Luciano, who gave me their phone number.
Yeah.
And, since Daniele wasn't on WhatsApp, I spoke to Simone, and then he said, you know, his email, he had answered, but the email there was an issue with the server. Anyway, we're speaking now, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
and
smaller group. Sorry.
Adriana also, which you should know about. Adriana has been in contact with Roberto Stabile.
Roberto Stabile.
Who's a member. He's a producer. He's head of the production producer society. And also he's international director or something of Cinecittà.
Yeah, it's Anika.
Anika,
Yeah, perfect. That's very good.
He was willing to, he told Adriana when she met him at Bogota fair that he was willing to help.
Great, because also now Cinecittà is public again. It's public, it's not private anymore. It's been anyways, there was a failing attempt of privatization, and now it's back under the public domain, public governance. So this should make things also smoother, hopefully. But that's great. That's good contact, Adriana.
Yeah. Well, what I really need from before, as I think Nigel suggested, before we make tell the different societies that there's going to be this event. I wanted it in writing that Cinecittà will have the space available to us.
So how can I help in that sense? Consider I'm in India, but I can communicate with.
I don't know if I should ask Simone this or Roberto Stabile, but I think before obviously we're going to have to find sponsors for the event, but at least we know we have the space.
For the space, we're talking about the theater.
The theater and access to Cinecittà, because it's all going to happen there.
No, of course, access is not a problem. The theater, as far as I know, considering that it's been now 4 years, I'm mostly based here in India, but as far as I know, the theater is not too busy in terms of activities, especially when it happens in weekdays. And my understanding, my memory, if my memory is correct, it's going to be a weekday, right? It's going to be a Tuesday.
Yes, Monday, Tuesday. Monday the 12th and Tuesday the 13th, which is the actual anniversary.
So we could ask Stabile to get this written confirmation, or if you want, I can also write to Simone and see what is the, because it had been told, it had been said that it was available for us. This was the first input we got. I remember.
I remember you saying it. I just wanted to see it in writing because I think it gives some security to us, not having to say, well, we're sorry, finally we don't have the space, because if we don't have that space, that makes it a lot more complicated.
Of course.
So yeah, good.
So are you liaising directly with him, or you want me to be part of this in any ways?
Well, I mean, you're part of the communication. I mean, the 30th anniversary celebration group. We're in contact with Simone, with Marcella. So I've been speaking to him. She spoke to him. You can also speak to him. That surely will is better.
Okay, I'll keep it as a reminder that this it's important to get this confirmation as soon as possible.
Yes, are you ready? Right to Mr. Stabile?
Yes.
I'm waiting his answer. So when he answers us, and I can tell you to have someone in Italy to talk to him.
Okay.
Yep. Because when Adriana spoke to him, he wasn't aware of the event.
Okay. I don't know what is the exact role within Cinecittà. I know him by name, and I think I know him also personally. I don't know what is his exact name. How did you get his contact, Adriana?
Here in Bogota, the past month were the audiovisual market in Bogota, and he was invited, and I was I was with him in an event, and I talked about that, and he told me that he was the international affairs representative of Cinecittà, and he doesn't know about the art celebration. So I was wondering that I was concerned about that, because he doesn't know anything about this celebration. So I wrote him a letter, and we are waiting to the answer.
No, you know why I'm asking you this? I remember from my student time that I was very amazed by the fact that I studied in London, and the entire UK council had 48 people working in it. In Italy, only the National Film School has 200 people working as administrators. So, it can also be, Cinecittà Holding is a very big structure.
Yes, I imagine.
With and they now made it together with the Luce Cinecittà. Luce is the national archive. The bureaucracy there is quite, how to say, structured and articulated. So I know his name. I can't recall exactly how I know his name, but it's a familiar name. But I don't know what he's actually handling exactly. And I don't know because I don't know who Simone has spoken to, what kind of contacts they got there, because I don't know how their management is structured. I don't deal with that on a daily basis. I know they started the lab again there. I know they have plans. I know that they're using the recovery funds to remodernate the entire thing that was quite obsolete in a way, but it's also important that we know who we have to talk to. The fact that he doesn't know about IMAGO doesn't surprise me that much. What we can deduct is the fact that nobody has talked to him. But the whole point is to understand who we need to talk to. Knowing that this information of the availability of the theater came from Luciano, it didn't come from me directly, Mustafa. It could have not been because I'm not active there. So, but we also have to understand who is the person of contact. So this is something I can find out very fast. I'll call Luciano and find out who is the person of contact. Or
yes, that's
but the fact that he doesn't know about what it is, because I don't know. Also, I love my country, but also all these titles and charges, being the international representative of Cinecittà might be meaning many things, and maybe then there is somebody who is in charge of the logistics, somebody who is in charge of the rental, So this, for me, it's all sound quite new.
Yes, all what I think we need is to have the name of the people, the person that can save the date for us and to be officially, to have officially the theater and the space to do the celebration.
Clearly, if we act as an international not organization, association as we are, the contact you have established already is a good thing. So you can also ask him, like, who do we have to talk to in order to do that? If we act as AIC and IMAGO together, then AIC might have his own other channels. So it's just a matter of coordinating each other and being on the same page. Unfortunately, it's not mystery. Our society at the moment, it's very like the life of the society is, there are issues in the sense that very focused on the micro salon, and it takes a lot of energy, a lot of resources. But Simone is totally on the same page with us now, and we know that we have this that has to happen. We need to have clarity on the situation over there at Cinecittà. I can only say that I don't think it's going to be super busy at that time of the year.
Okay. So we should move on to the next thing on the agenda, which is the project of the. It's you, Adriana.
Yes,
I think there was a whole misunderstanding. Just because the announcement was quite concise, but you can explain it better.
Okay. As we were talking before, as Jill said, at the same time we think about the IMAGO's external communication strategy. We need to do something to get strength the internal communication. I believe the work that the committees do is very important, but not all of us, are always aware of the achievements that they carry out. So for this reason, I proposed before to Bojana, Alex, and Mustafa this project, and now to the board, I presently to the board, to hold, I don't know, bi-monthly, we said bi-monthly?
Bi-monthly, yeah.
Bi-monthly talks to, that I think called IMAGO talks, to highlight specific topics chosen with each committee. As a pilot, I thought I spoke with Philip Ross and all the ITC committee to do a pilot with a subject that we are working in ITC is the system, zonal system from the analog passed to the digital world. And I spoke with Edward Lackman and to Alfonso Parra and to David Stump, and I invited them to do this for the first time, to talk about this work that many times stay inside of the committee. So they are working, all of them. So we have to do this first talk in the middle of September, and this is the idea. If this works, I want to propose to each committee to choose a subject, to do a subject and some cinematographers to do these talks bi-monthly. I don't know if it's clear, because I always wonder if you understand that.
It is clear. It is clear. Don't worry. It is clear. So it's a proposal of the project that the committee would choose a subject, and twice a month, yes. And then when we spoke about
no twice a month.
Every 2 months. Every 2 months, yeah. And then we spoke maybe to make also something as because we were talking about podcasts in a communication part. Maybe this can be also in a form of a podcast, or it can be broadcasted as a podcast as well. This type of a meeting with the committees. So, okay.
Argyris?
Yes, before I speak, I'd like to ask, what is the audience? What will the audience be? Who will be the audience?
It's a very good idea. I was thinking about that, and I think in the beginning is to us, to IMAGO, to know each other, to know every of us the work that the committees have been doing. But I think that the subjects are very not important, but attractive to students and young cinematographers. I think it's very interesting, even for me or anybody here, to hear about the work that Lackman, Alfonso Parra, and Stump has been made about this subject. So in the beginning is for us to know what every committee is doing, but I think we can open it to the students and to the young cinematographers.
Okay, may I speak?
Yes.
Yes, please, Argyris.
Yes, okay. Now, so this should be part of the communication strategy, I think, for one.
Internal communication at the beginning.
Internal regarding students, it's not internal.
Now, I think there are two objectives. I don't know if it works as I am thinking, but I think he has two objectives. The first one, to show the work of committees for us, for all IMAGO members, but I think the second objective is to the students as a pedagogical, I can say that, pedagogical
Pedagogical, it's correct, yes. Listen, I'll try to start my video. I hope it works. Pedagogical is not internal, it's external. It's communication, it's education, it's many other things. Internally, I have to say that if I present something on authorship, I am absolutely convinced that Philip Ross will not attend because he does not believe in authorship. And so we need to find a way how to match things together. Because I would be happy to listen.
Sorry, I didn't understand the last sentence. I'm sorry.
I didn't understand either. Can you please repeat?
I said that, for example, I know Phil.
We don't hear you.
Yes, I doubt. I mean,
Algiers,
I
we
would
cannot.
be glad
Algiers,
to attend
Algiers.
such a discussion on the zone system. But when time comes for the authorship committee to present, and I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me better now? Is it any better? Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, but it's sometimes it only goes to 3G here. And so what I was saying is that I will be very happy to attend an event or a presentation of the zone system for the digital era. But when the time comes to present authorship issues on the others, I'm afraid most people will not attend because they say, no, we don't care. And I don't see how, I mean, in order for such an initiative to be constructive, it also needs to have a thought on how we are proceeding on that and how do we make people join together.
Yes, of course.
Because it's you know, the vice president, who is also a member of the technical committee, organizing something with the technical committee, including her mostly respected husband. Well, it sounds like a bit weird. Excuse me, apologies, but I respect everybody you mentioned deeply, but we need to have some not second thought, or I take it back, sorry, wrong words, some additional thinking on how this is going to work. How will the people from the education committee or the working committee will be presenting something and the others will be there to attend them? How are we going to get them here? That's the point. That's what we need to think.
I'm just answering. Everyone in technical committee knows that I don't participate active, and it's not. Maybe even I was thinking to get out of the technical committee because I don't participate a lot. But in one of the meetings, I was assistant to a very interesting conversation that I was ashamed that weren't more known for the other people, and I thought about that this conversation must to be more open to other people. And recently, Alfonso is not because in my husband, because it doesn't matter. But recently, Alfonso make a very structured article, and it was published in IMAGO and in ADFC, in AESC in Spain. So I talked about that maybe this conversation must to be the first serves me to see if it is can work. That's why I was saying that it's a pilot, because I agree with you that maybe it doesn't work, but I think if Vice President Bojana and I works with each committee, we can find a subject that interested everybody, and we can do very interesting talks. So if there are some people that doesn't give value to the authorship, it's their problem. We forgot them. I'm very interested in authorship, and I wanted to work with you to look the very important subject to talk with others. And I'm completely sure that if we find 2 or 3 cinematographers to know the subject, that to want to talk about a subject that we choose all together, I'm completely sure that we are going to have public, internal and external public.
I think Denis has been wanting to speak for a while.
Yes.
Adriana, I think it's a wonderful idea, very important. I mean, it's amazing. It's a great project, Bojana and Adriana. And yes, it will require, for the time being, it's a project, an idea, and it's wonderful, and we should absolutely go for it. Then, of course, how, when, with whom, what topic, and all that. This is something to discuss, and maybe something not to discuss at the board, because it's a very too wide subject. You should, if I may suggest, you should, guys, create your own group. Not even, you don't need to call it a committee. It's a group and everyone, of course, is who would like to join you guys to work on that should and could. And then at some point you will come to the board and say, okay, this is how we're going to do it. And it will happen at these dates. The first topic will be that on that date. Then 2 months later, we'll do that with this other group and all that. And we will vote at that time. And probably we will, of course, vote yes. And that's absolutely fantastic. And you should absolutely move forward. Now, also, we should not think that we have to define right away or in the next week when you will be working on that, what will be the final beautiful way of doing things. This is also something that can be modified after the first session, because there's things that can be enhanced, etc. And maybe we will find that some topic is not, when finding the 3rd or 4th subject to be presented, then you will also use your experience for the first 2 to decide, oh, this would never work or whatever. But yes, please go ahead. It's fantastic.
Do you agree, Denis, that we should go ahead with a pilot in September, because somehow this was a time frame that Adriana had thought about?
Well, it depends on me. I'm going to start a feature, and I'm at the end of October. I have an AFC project. I'm the guy behind a 1-week masterclass AFC. So I have absolutely no time to be part of anything besides that and my film. But so it's for you guys to Adriana, because you seem to be behind that, to decide if it's too short or if you think you can make it. And if it's not September, maybe it makes more sense to aim at October. I don't know. It's for you and the people, and you don't have to decide now. Maybe you can talk next week with the people you need to talk to see if it's doable in September, and then. I mean, it's my point is also my final point. It shouldn't be something that we discuss so much in detail here at the board meeting. The way I worked on my masterclass week for the AFC, I pitched that to the AFC. I'm not even at the board of the AFC. I pitched that at the board. I say I would like to explore the possibility of doing in the way the ASC is doing a masterclass week at the AFC to bring money to the blah, blah, blah. I want a green light to explore, not do yet. And I want to do that with people I will choose myself, not a committee. I want a small group. They said yes. They could have said no. They said yes. Then I worked on that. Then I came back and I pitched what we had come with. And I said, do you agree? Are you interested? Yes, they are. So now it's happening. And of course, I have to widen and all that. But I am it's not my project. I'm a coordinator. And again, there's not even a committee. If there's no chair, then all that. They're just somebody, me in that case, who is very motivated and send email and all that. Anyway, sorry, I'm very transported as usual when I'm becoming.
Thank you, Denis Argyris.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry, Bojana, I'm sorry, Bojana.
Well, this is Adriana's project at the beginning, but she has my full support, not just because we're co-vice presidents, but because we discuss and we talk and we support each other. So she supported the Instagram project, and now I support this one. Regarding the audience and regarding it's like every other audience. When I'm shooting a coming of age film that was shot in a no budget and I have a few thousand people see it, and when you compare it to some big fancy project that some audience would like to see, this is it. People are watching what they're interested in, and what we can do is be assertive, be propositive, like, okay, here is what authorship committee has to say. These are very important subjects. You listen, but if you don't want to listen, that's, I don't know, that's your decision. If you don't want to watch coming of age film and you prefer to watch, I don't know, like some Marvel thing, that's your cup of tea. That's your life. That's your chosen. So we shouldn't be mad at people would like to see more of this subject or more of this subject or more of this subject. We as the IMAGO, we should propose and we should give the opportunity that every committee present its work. As a pilot, it's a specific subject. So if ITC chose that subject, that is very interesting, and I know it's very interesting because I was at the Camera Image and I heard about that project. And I watched later the recording. And if someone else has something else, for example, if the situation in Denmark, it's also very interesting regarding the authorship thing. And then something from the educational committee, from masterclass committee, it's up to the committee to see what they will choose to present and what type of a subject. Adriana is trying to make a platform to trying to make a space for that. And that's her proposal. So I really think that we should endorse it. And I really think that we should be positive regarding that. Yes, I agree with Denis. It's not necessary that everything should go so deeply into research and examination and everything that's needed for board to approve. So that's my point of view. It's Adriana's project, but she has my support.
Argyris?
Okay, now to begin what Adriana said, that she plans to discuss with the committees. This issue has been brought up in the previous board, and Adriana said she was not ready, so she would come back next month, which is today. For this month in between, I have been waiting for an email by Adriana inviting me as authorship committee to discuss the details. I never got any letter, nor did Kurt Brazda, nor did Philip. So that's why we were, wondering and perhaps complaining. Because we know that this project exists, we are supposed to be part of it, but no one tells us anything about it. So I think, at least in a communication part, it was not the right way to deal with this. I personally have been waiting for Adriana's email. That never came. So that's how misunderstandings get created. I expect to see and to discuss what can be done and how it can be done. Now, regarding what Bojana said about the movies and who wants to attend what. If what Bojana, no, I started again. Bojana said that she wants to build some sort of bridge between the committees, if I understood it right.
I didn't hear you. Can you please repeat? I didn't hear you what you said.
Yes. From what I understood, Adriana said that she wants a bridge to bridge the works of the committees together. If I understood it right, that she wants to get the committees know one another, then there is no way that the thinking that if somebody wants to attend, he has the right to do it. If he does not, that's okay. No, it's not okay. The idea is, how do we connect the committees together so that each committee knows what the other committees are doing? So we need to find a way to connect the people, to bring them in, and not say, if they don't care, that's okay, let's go on.
So you mean in external way, in external communication?
Internal.
Internal, yeah, sorry. Internal communication, committees should support each other. Yes, that's, I mean,
Yep.
yeah.
Can I say something, Arjuri? So you have to understand, when you speak about Philip Ross not being interested in authorship, I think it has to be clear that in France and in the US, the authorship is not an issue, because it's not going to happen because of specific reasons of each country. Now, that doesn't mean that the individual is not interested in what the authorship committee does. They just don't feel concerned because it's not something that's going to happen in France, at least not the way things are now, or in the US, which doesn't mean, like in Brazil, for example, we have no authorship rights, but we are interested. We have tried in the past to get ahead with this issue, and we are fully we want this to happen. And congratulations on the success you had for what you presented in Europe. I think it's important. So the fact that one or two memberships don't feel concerned about authorship doesn't mean that we as IMAGO, or the other people in the other committees shouldn't. I don't think that Philip Ross is a good example for that specific reason. It's not him.
Why
Philip
mentioning
Ross.
names, and why not mentioning names at all? Like, why putting specific people in a position or juries? That's not necessary. People can choose. I mean, if we speak internally, yes, committees should work together, and that should be a network of committees. Why we should speak about position in a committee, not about specific people, please.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I think it's not only for committees to speak to each other. I think it's for committees also to speak to the board, to speak to a wider audience, which I don't see happening much. I mean, for exceptions like the authorship committee and Kurt, but I haven't heard much about what's being done with the other committees or them submitting projects with the funds that were made available for the year 2022. You know, I think yes, we should. There should be a working group for Adriana and his project, and I'm all for the pilot. And but yes, I think there should be a working group, and you should get together and discuss a strategy that would involve everybody.
I want to say something. I think we have a very heavy burden from our past, and I apologize specifically with Agiris if the way I have approached this project is not the best. But for me, it was a draft idea that I wanted to share with you, with the board, and to be completed. The proof is that when I talked with Stump and Lachman and Alfonso, I just wanted to have their intention to participate, but to show you one example, but nothing is according because I have to talk to every committee to ask Denise said to look for the perfect way to do it. My intention it wasn't not respect all the work, and my intention was to have an example and pilot, because if I came here and said I have this project, what kind of talks do you think? What I wanted to present that with a specifically example, but you can be absolutely sure that I don't want to do anything without thinking of all the committees and the people that conform this committee. It wasn't the intention. The intention was to propose an idea, is a draft idea, is not completed. I don't know what is the best way, but I completely sure that we need to know what we are doing inside the committee, and maybe share it with other people outside IMAGO. So sorry, I think.
Denis?
And to the risk of being unpopular with you, Argyris, it seems that possibly in the future there will be 3 or 4 technical topics or sessions from the technical committee, when only one from the authorship or education, because obviously they address topics which are more often of interest, maybe not for the same cinematographers, but for a different bunch of cinematographers. I am personally not much interested in archiving or whatever. But if they do something one day on the archiving, they will have an audience, and then they do another day something on the zone system in digital time, it will be maybe not exactly the same audience. And if you do something one day on the authorship, I will eventually be present, but maybe not, because maybe I will not be more interested than I am with the archival topic, which is my own personal choice. But it's not what what I'm saying is that Adriana at this point, because she seems to be at the steering wheel for this project, should feel free to explore it the way she wants and to do a pilot, as she explained clearly, and then eventually see what the education committee has to do, or maybe right away. Why not? It's her choice. But it's not about that every committee has exactly the same amount of time or sessions and all. It's not about that. It's about communicating what is interesting to our members.
Juries?
Yes. Obviously, I did not express myself clearly. I understand that the technical issues will be of interest to more persons. What I said is that we have not been contacted, the other committees, at all. So it's not about, it's practically doing an event for the technical committee and see how it goes. It's not something that brought ideas from various committees into the table, and we decided, and Adriana decided that it would be better or easier or best or whatever to start with this. So that's what I say. We have not been contacted at all. That was okay. Adriana apologized already, but I'm just repeating it because it obviously was not clear. Okay, and sorry for bringing up specific persons, but it's not just one person that feels like that. I have been talking to people, especially from the technical committee, who have an opinion. It's not like in France we'll never get it, or in the US we'll never get it. I'm talking to people who have an opinion against authorship. But okay, let's not let's forget this part.
Thank you, Argyris. Can we vote on moving ahead with the pilot and simultaneously creating a working group with a member of each committee where a strategy will be discussed to further this project? Yes, Denis?
May I
I don't think
that,
I don't think the committees should be part of the group because they are committees. I mean, Adriana should work with whoever she wants to work, and let's not be so formal. And I mean, for the time being, it is about the IMAGO sharing with between committees, between associations, between cinematographers, eventually the students or whoever. It will be this group to decide, and again, it will be possible to change and to extend the audience or to restrict the audience because whatever. But for the time being, let's just give a green light to Adriana so she move forward and can work on the pilot.
Yes, I think I understand the message, and I will be more attentive. Or I don't know, I can say that. But I was thinking that Bojana and I work with each committee, working for some subjects, interesting subjects to everyone. And again, I will repeat something. In ADFC, we are working in authorships in this moment, and for Latin America, it's a very important subject. And I have a list of possibly subjects to propose, and authorship was one of more important, as well as a green shooting. I don't know if you understand, but how the shooting, las filmaciones, the shooting will be less
More ecological.
Yes, that to me is very important. I have these two subjects, authorship and a green shooting. But if we talk with Bojana has talking with Ellen, and they have a subject
For diversity and inclusion.
diversity subject. So if you give me a green light to move on with this project, you have my word that I be attentive to all committees and all subjects. That's something that, and I repeat, I didn't contact you before because it was a draft idea, and just born in a discussion that I had that I found very interesting. That's all.
So let's vote on giving Adriana green lights with Bojana to work on the pilot and advance on the project with the different committees. All in favor? So it's unanimous. Thank you.
I was voting with one hand because I think that I wouldn't like to vote in Phil Corday's name because he is part of the committees, and this is why I just raised one hand.
So we have one vote less, but
yeah,
it's still a majority. Okay. Next on the agenda, sorry. Well, the next on the agenda was item 6, the future conference planning and possible dates for 2023. Well, as it was discussed, we plan to include part of the future conference, although we might call it something else, with the celebration in Rome. But I think we still, we even mentioned it before, it wasn't even my suggestion, but we should have a working group for that, different from the organization of the celebration, because it's a lot on one plate. Since not many people are present, maybe it should be in writing, send out a letter, and who wants to be part of that group. If anybody here already wants to be part of that working group, that would be good.
I think it should be sent to all board members as well as committees. And yeah, I think board members and committees for the beginning, and to see, because many people were interested in that are not present here. So maybe that's the way to start.
Is there anybody that's present that wants to be a part of that working group that could already be active in it?
I would be.
Okay, I'll do this. Anybody else? Vincenzo, you wanted to speak?
Yeah, sorry, I'm stepping back to that previous topic, but it's also connected to this other, because just I was messaging Simone. So for clarity, he is in touch with Marcella, right? And Marcella is basically assisting you and she wrote to him that we will connect with them again after this meeting.
Yes.
With an outlines, from my understanding, with an outlines basically of how we want to relate that night. Exactly. Because after that, they will have a board meeting of AIC also, in order to approve the thing, which I think is going to be a formality. I'm not part of the AIC board. I think Roberto maybe is. I'm not sure about it. Roberto Chef. So, okay, sorry, it's just to double check. So this will also include the future conference?
Well, it was brought up as an idea. I forgot who among us suggested it, that although it wouldn't be the future conference itself, we would have a few hours dedicated to brainstorming for the future conference.
I'm saying this because, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, because most likely the board member, AIC board member, will happen in September only. Now, these next 2 weeks in Italy, nothing will happen. Usually they meet at the beginning of the month. That's very tight. So I think the more detailed we can get by the date, my personal advice is to give them the package, this and this and this and that. That's what we want to happen. And let's not wait for confirmation of the date. Confirmation of the theater should be something that they have to deal with.
Okay.
Because I think that by the time they have like a board meeting, the theater is ready to be solved. Okay.
So as
Just
I asked, let's before the end of the month, we need to have a meeting within the working group of the anniversary. So what was been laid out so far amongst the talks that we had, and your suggestion about the theme for the round table, and the ideas that have come up. Also, I've also spoken to Eric Deschamps, and so we get together and we agree on the proposal that I've put together. I can send it out in writing, and we'll try to meet again on Zoom. And if we don't manage, at least we can exchange opinions and decide in writing.
No,
Do you agree with?
I'm totally committed to this, absolutely 100%. I also have to tell you, I'm starting prep for 2 features. I shoot 30 days in September and 45 days in November, mid-October. But I'm totally in. I'm saying if I skip a meeting, I will definitely be on email in any case. And I'm following this most of all from the Italian side. But this is my situation.
No, we can do it on. If we can't meet on a Zoom, we'll exchange emails within the working group, which had been decided. I know Roberto's not here today, and he might not be able to be available at that meeting. So anyway,
I have a WhatsApp group with them, so I'm texting in real time. So the thing is, we will present. I'm telling them we will present the plan with the request, with all the things that they can approve by beginning of September.
Great. Well, I'll have
and all the preparatory work that needs to be done in between us. Of course, we have a good time frame to make that happen.
Well, you'll have before the end of next week, actually much before, I'll send out what we've thought about so far, and then I get feedback from you, and then we go ahead, because I'm also going to be filming most of the time until the end of the month. So we all need to get moving. So where were we before? I'm sorry. Yes, Nigel, you wanted to say something?
Well, I following up to that, I would say that Vincenzo is correct. We need to have a date. It seems to me, being as objective as I can, that what the problem is, the basic of the problem is that we need to have, as you're going to be working, we've got a young lady who with your society who is Italian speaking. She is our treasurer. I suggest.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt and correct you. She's not the treasurer. I'm still the treasurer because
okay. Well, then
she's helping me with the treasury.
That's okay. Okay, I didn't say that. I beg your pardon, but that's what I meant. As a matter of fact, that she's helping you. Surely she is capable. It sounds as if she's capable of coordinating everything while you're away and getting this done, and make her job as a secretary for the coordination. The other second thing is, Vincenzo, he knows that in Cinecittà, the office there has 1 or 2 people. Now, to have a meeting of any kind organized, we have to have people there in Italy. We have to volunteers to really coordinate, to help whoever is there, because the one person can't do the job. They cannot do the job. Transportation, all the arrangements, hotels, that kind of stuff. We have to be practical about it. And
Marcella is although she's working actively on this. We speak to each other every day, whether it's for things for the presidency and now for the treasury. So I might be shooting, but I'm still in contact with us because obviously she'll do things if I agree with them. But yes, she's coordinating in practical sense. She's coordinating the effort of. And she'll be speaking to Vincenzo, and she's been speaking to Simone, and I think yes, Simone says he's in charge of the micro salon. Although he's very busy, I think he's the best person, so we don't spread it. It's better to have one person maybe in Italy, don't you think, Vincenzo? For now, I mean.
I think I think the right. Basically, it's the two of them coordinating. We also have a young kid there, Ludovico. I don't know if you've been in touch. Who also can be very helpful. He's also very resourceful. For the logistics side, Simone can take care of that. But of course, we need to know what we're proposing. What is the budget? What are our possibilities? Whether 2 days is realistic or whether 1 day is more realistic. All of this has to be assessed. It's our internal assessment of what we want to achieve and to present it to them. But time is a concern. So I really think that beginning of September, we really should have, or as according to the roadmap, Mustafa, that you just stated, we have to proceed this way. I only got a bit confused with this contact with Roberto Sanchez, because I didn't understand whether we are also, as IMAGO, directly liaising with Cinecittà, or we are just waiting for AIC to do this for us. That's my only, and I'm sorry again because I missed the first part of this meeting. So that's where confusion came.
No, I think we want the main interlocutor, what's the name in English? Our main contact is the AIC. It's not Cinecittà. Obviously, it's the home of AIC, and that's that's the idea, is that we go through AIC. It's just at that time we haven't had I hadn't been able to speak to Simone or Daniele, and Adriana by coincidence met this Roberto Stabile and spoke to him about the project, and that's why.
For my understanding only, I'm asking her. So because the better I understand,
exactly. But it's not that we wanted to reach out to Cinecittà and not to the AIC. We had reached.
No, I'm not implying that. It's just for me to understand, because I've been a bit out of all this. So if the better I understand, the better I can also translate to them, and also keep an eye and coordinate things from this side, because I was writing in real time now. Okay.
Can I say something, please? I'd just like to say this, that I think is quite important. I think we should be encouraging the BVK, the Germans, who are founder members originally. We should be encouraging them to come back to us by involving them in some way, which I leave to you, to become part of our.
May I say something about this? Sorry. I've been in a close relationship with BVK. For the reason BVK is a partner of the workshop Terra di Cinema that we were discussing at the time, the one that I ran for AIC. And I don't know, their situation is a bit how to say, in progress, or like because there is a new board, there has been a radical change in the board, there is a new president, but also there has been some, I don't know, some legal claims that this election might not been how you say, legitimate. That there are some major changes now, so I don't know how ready they are to before settling their internal things. But in any case, there is a new board now. I think new for 6 months. And yeah, but I think that in principle, what Nigel is saying is very right. Say the 4 founding associations should have a role in this and a visibility.
Absolutely.
Yes, I
And
agree.
I also, having spent more than a year of my life trying to get them once back into IMAGO, I know they can be difficult, but they are willing. I think they all they're wanting is to see that IMAGO is working, and only we can show them that by actually involving them. We want, or at least offer them some involvement so that they think about it.
Right. Thank you. So we should move on to the next, which is the Manaki Brothers Festival. Bojana, you were the one who was going, and Nigel, you said you would go on your own recognizance. Now,
Nigel,
Bojana, you sent a message that you might not be able to attend because of your work commitment.
No.
Well, at least only 3 days. You could only dedicate three days.
I'm going. I will be attending. So, Nigel, would you like me to say, or do you want to?
No, you can say. The only thing I will say very quickly is that I founded the conference. That was my idea. So you carry on, please.
Okay. So I was invited to be a jury member, and I couldn't accept to be a jury member because of my preparation for the shooting, my pre-production. So when I talked to my producers, they said, yes, okay, 3 days for the conference, we can afford that, but we cannot afford that you will not be here a few weeks before the shooting for the whole amount for the whole time of the festival. So this is why I couldn't accept to go for the whole Manaki Festival, but still I'm here to assist Nigel, although Nigel is so kind telling me like, now you're in charge, but actually Nigel is the guy that's made the Balkan Conference. So I'm assisting him, helping him, organizing everything, and I'm pretty happy with, we will have around 17, 18, 19 delegates. So we have almost every country except maybe two countries cannot travel. So we will have mostly delegates of all countries. And Nigel was very kind to organize and find the money for the dinner that will be organized the night before. And Nigel made another event that he will have at Manaki. There will be an ARI conference. There will be a talk with Anthony Mantle and Nigel. And after that, sponsorship dinner and cocktail with the festival director. So the day after we have a conference, and at the moment everything goes well in order to organize it. So I will be travel. I left my so the Serbian Society will travel with 3 or 4 people. So I will travel on my own. In the name of the IMAGO. This is how I put, because I helped Nigel and everyone to this happen, and I didn't want to take out of the Serbian Society possibility that they have the delegates just because I'm there. So Serbian Society will have its own their own delegates, and the cost of the travel is no more than 150 euros. So this is only for the guests to Bitoli. So we will have one subject because we invited 2 delegates per country, and we invited 1 delegate to be a female delegate. So first part of the conference will be dedicated to the female delegates and female cinematographers, of course, together with everyone that are there to speak and talk about those subjects. And after we have many subjects on the second part, and as Nigel told me, many more will arise in a general communication, and I'm preparing to send an email to all participants asking for if they have more subject to propose. So Nigel, I hope I said everything. Do you have something to add?
I have something to add. I think that you've done a fantastic job. How about that?
Thank you.
And I look forward to it. I mean, I just say this about the conference. it actually developed from the fact that I've been involved for more than, I don't know how many years now, but for a long time in helping the Little Macedonian Society and our oldest festival in the world in our name, which is the Manaki Festival. I've been helping them to get international cinematographers from all nationalities, Russians, Polish, French, you name it, Australian. They've all been there. This year we have Anthony Dodmantle, who, although he claims to be an Englishman, is really a Dane in many ways, but he'll probably dispute that. But I think basically the idea of the conference came because I could see when they met each other, that there was such a lot of goodwill. And the conference was an idea just to establish goodwill among a smaller group of 10 people who were killing each other 30 years ago, some of them. And but it's been fantastic. I'm so pleased with it because you've got the Macedonians helping even the Greeks, and even though there was one argument, I remember, but we've had the Bosnians helping the Serbs. One of the best societies who've never let me down have been the Slovenians. They've been fantastic, and I'm pleased to see that this conference, it's been a chat really. A chat between people who are interested in working conditions and all the things that we believe in. There's been an improvement. There's been an improvement. Even the Slovenians set up a Balkan little film festival. And so I think it's been a success. But this year, I think it has, for the first time, a true meaning. And that is the role of the female cinematographers in the Balkan region, because it's woeful what's happened there. And we have got one or two, I know, fine cinematographers coming who are working. And we have, the reason I had a slight disagreement with Bojana originally was because it's the men that need to know what the problems are, and the men that need to realize that that in the Western societies, we have the introduction and the growth of women in the society has improved our lot. We are the men are the ones who have benefited. And that is the strongest arguments that I can give to anybody talking about working long days, is that if there are women on the unit, it's come down. It's come down. And the union that they all should belong to, of course, most of them are not, but the union in Britain is getting stronger. And the union has seized upon that to help the role of women, and I think that can be an argument to be used in the Balkans as well. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Bojana, what I'd like to know as treasurer is what money is needed from the members of IMAGO to travel.
I can answer that because I've never paid a penny. This is the first time I've heard money mentioned, and it's because the Serbians, hopefully the Serbians should pay for you, but they're not, obviously.
No, Serbians will pay for the Serbian delegates. If I was the Serbian delegate, that probably I would say, let's ask more people to come, because it's always me traveling. So yes. I didn't want to take the opportunity for the other people just because I'm part of the IMAGO. And this is why I said I invited a female cinematographer and other things. But so the Manaki Brothers Festival organized accommodation, food, and a dinner that actually Nigel organized for the delegates, and the society is paying for the trip. So that is the situation regarding the conference. So society for the trip, from country to the Bitol, and Manaki Brothers is paying for accommodation, breakfast, and everything that's happening there.
That's fine. I think what needs to be clarified is that this Manaki festival is the most important international festival in Macedonia. That may be hard to believe, but it's true. The result of that is that the government, it's government sponsored. We're the government, and the Macedonians are great. They want to encourage us, and the they can use things like the conference as an example of how international they are in their discussions with the United Nations, with the European Union, and anybody else. And it's kind of worked for them, and I feel pleased for them, because the people of Bitola, I'll tell you a very quick story, that years ago when I first went, must have been about 15 years ago, I went there, they had a split conference. It was a stupid idea. I mean, the Balkans are full of stupid ideas, I'm afraid. There's some sensible ones, but this was a particularly stupid one. The successful conference, which is growing in success, the Manaki Festival in Bitola, the Skopjeans decided that they would actually like to have a bit of the cake. So they said, well, okay, this year we'll have half in Bitola and half in Skopje. Complete disaster. But what was fascinating was there one night when I went to Skopje, came out at least 100 people in pouring rain demonstrating for film. They were demonstrating to retain Bitola as the home of film in Macedonia. Now, what other country would do that? So I've got a great fondness for them.
It's a beautiful story.
And this festival, the date originally for the stories get more bizarre, because the date this year was going to be the Saturday night. Normally it's a Sunday, but it's a Saturday night. And then the word came, it was going to go to the Friday night. Why? And I know the reason why. The reason why was that the president said he wasn't going to do it any other month. So he ordered it to go to the Saturday night. Then the Minister of Culture said that she couldn't make it on the Saturday night. So there was a big argument between the two of them, between the Friday. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's all rubbish. Anyway, but it's on the Friday night.
So
it'll be fine.
Thank you. I think Argyris has his hand raised.
Yes, just for the record, I will be there too, representing the GSC on GSC expense.
Thank you, Argyris. So is there anything else needs to be said on Manaki Brothers? Or we're already in 3 hours into the meeting, so we should get moving.
Yeah, there is two things. First, last month we agreed that Hannah will travel to the office in Brussels to bring the awards to Samir Duma and Fetid Out, which are cinematographers that won awards and everything you remember from the last meeting. So yes. What happened with that? Obviously, we didn't do that. Obviously, we will not give them the IMAGO award again, although both of them will be in Maki. And I'm going to meet both cinematographers, telling them that we are not able to give them the awards for 2 years from our closed Brussels office. So this is the first thing that I'm asking. And the second thing is I would like to ask about the Brussels office, because as I recall, we have a September as a deadline regarding.
I'm aware of that, and I'm working on this. Regarding the award, I have spoken to Hannah, and she was trying to see if she would go early this week. Is that right, Hannah?
Yes, I'm trying to see if I will be able to make it Monday or Tuesday to the Brussels office.
How am I going to get those awards from France? Because if you go Monday, Tuesday, and I'm going to Manaki on Sunday, so we have like 3 days or 4 days that I get awards in Serbia. So
she'll get it. She can FedEx it to Bitola.
Difficult, not impossible.
Let me, Hannah, let me check, please, with the festival director if they have any guests coming from the Brussels or from the France or from the Paris. So if they have, maybe we make some kind of connection that you take the awards and you give them to someone who is coming to Manaki. If not, then let's you go and take awards and send in shipping to Bitola. Yes, please.
Okay.
I think that's a very good idea. Right. But can I just suggest something very quickly? That is that, I mean, they've done a lot for us, this little festival. We could reciprocate it by making an award, not this year, but next year maybe, but you have to talk about it and decide. Making an award which you give every year to the most promising young Balkan cinematographer. That would actually bind everything together, and it'd be fantastic for IMAGO. End of story.
Well, we can discuss you've thrown out the idea, and we'll discuss it at a later date. And now we have Camera Image. Anything needs to be discussed regarding Camera Image that's coming up in a month or so? Anyone? Yes, Bojana?
I think as Manaki, Camera Image is very important, and I think that we must have someone who will represent, but as well as years before, there's been always conferences and programs that IMAGO makes. So first, I think that we should send an invitation to all committees and all board members asking who has a plan to make, who is making a plans of attending the Camera Image in name of the IMAGO, actually, who is having some plans for the for the conferences, because last year I went to Camera Image and everything was made a month before the festival, and it's been very stressful and very, I already told you, we have to start working now.
Okay, well, who's going to be in charge of this?
It seems that the AFC wants to do something. I'm not involved with that. One of the AFC has several projects for this coming Camera Image, and one of them involve the collaboration of the ITC, the technical committee. And I think, Mustafa, you're aware of that, because I was.
Yes. I received an email. I wasn't able to attend the meeting because I was shooting, but I did receive the email that involved the Léo Instant. You were copied, and I forgot the name of the other person.
Yeah.
So
I can ask Hannah to write a letter to the committees, to the chairs of the committees, and to the other member of the board, to see if anybody was planning to attend, not on behalf of IMAGO, and then we determine who on behalf of IMAGO is going to go.
Yes, and what program we will bring, and when we will start to communicate with Camera Image people regarding everything that's needed to be organized. So yes, let's start, please, Hannah, with an email with the subject Camera Image, with addressed to all committees and all board members. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But for the content that you're speaking about, maybe you'd be the one that should head this project, because I have a lot on my plate at the moment to also organize Camera Image.
I'm in love with both Manaki and Camera Image, and I have a great time. And I think I've been a very good representative last year, and I'm finishing my film. Hopefully, if everything went well, 20 of October. So, which gives me maybe 3-4 weeks of clarity until Camera Image. I can take on myself to start the communication and to be in charge of this, but I will need help, because I'm shooting a very big film starting September 12th. So I'm not sure if I can be the only one. So yes, I can. I adore Camera Image in Manaki, and I would like to be included and involved. So I can start with that with Hannah, but I will need help for sure. I'm shooting a huge film. I cannot do.
So let's see if anybody else wants to join you. Yes, Nigel?
Yes, I'm involved with Camera Image next year, and I hadn't planned to go this year, but they know me quite well. However, what I would say this, I just had an idea. The most successful event that I can remember regarding pure professional cinematographers over many years was when Laszlo and Vilmos were alive, and we had a meeting, and it cost IMAGO nothing. And the meeting was just any space. People meet to talk about working conditions. Working conditions is a sure way of getting people a meeting. And you have instantly an IMAGO event for maybe 100 people. There were at least 100 people there that day. And Laszlo was there, and Vilmos was there, and the chap who was in charge of IMAGO for a while from America, I forgot his name. He was there. He spoke, and I was most impressed by him. He's a young cinematographer, and he spoke really well. But I think that would be an event where IMAGO is taking part. We're not paying, not it's our idea. It's
Yeah, but I mean, sorry to interrupt you, Nigel. I think what we're discussing now is not even who we're going to send to Camera Image, is to organize who's going to organize or think about what's going to be included in IMAGO at the president of IMAGO at Camera Image.
yes.
Yeah, okay. Hannah, put me in CC, but put as well, please, not all board members, but whoever.
I can support you, Bojana, but I'm probably begin to shoot in September or October. So I can support you, but I don't know if
yeah, let's start. Let's just start it with an email, and we'll see who has ideas, and then we will get somehow together everything. So
okay.
Yeah.
Another thing I forgot to mention, well, we have committee projects, which I just wanted to say that again, we reserved the budget for the committees, and so far I haven't received any projects for that money to be allocated. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that. The other thing is that whether it's for Manaki Brothers, although it's around the corner, for Camera Image or whatever, Cine Gear or any other events, we will have a banner made with a QR code that I'm waiting for Ali to give us, that'll have the name of IMAGO and what it is in more than one language. And with that QR code, they can access, which I think is a good idea, because most people throw away pamphlets.
But but for the Manaki, we will not have anything because we didn't finish working in a brochure that stopped. So we will not have any IMAGO thing for the Manaki at the moment.
Well, we'll see if we can. Hopefully, I think it's might be too late, but to have the banner. But at least they'll, you know.
Can I just say we have had a banner made. IMAGO has had a banner made. Perfectly fine for today. Could add a few, add the American flag and a couple of other flags, and it's pretty well all of it. I don't know where it is. Maybe.
Well, I think the main interest of a banner is to have a QR code that gives people access, and also in return, we know who those people are. If Ali has the whole idea, and I think it's a great idea, because people, the brochure. On the banner, you'd have a QR code that gives you access to the information of IMAGO.
Yes.
And Nigel, the lady from Mari contacted me regarding the dinner. So who will be the sponsor for the dinner at Manaki?
Whoever we decide want to go. All our delegates, we could say there were about 20 maybe. And anybody, there will be some people who are in guests of the festival director.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So all in all, I think I asked for 40. They'll be free. We don't have to pay, but maybe we have 25, whatever.
Yeah, we have 20. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Okay.
right,
I am
we're-
so
we're-
sorry, but I have to leave because I have a meeting, a familiar meeting.
Thank you, Adriana, but we're actually at the end, but
Yeah.
item 11, which is other businesses, is there anybody who wants to mention anything else? If not, the meeting is over.
Well, I would just say that if you're looking for somebody to go to IMAGO, and not IMAGO, to Camerimage, I would be willing to go representing IMAGO. I'll probably get the money from the BSC, but don't tell them.
Okay,
Okay. We'll figure out. We'll
Okay.
figure out everything.
well, thank you very much, everybody. We've had a 3-hour and 12-minute meeting. And hopefully we'll see each other soon and things will, work regarding the. Bye, Argyris.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Argyris. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
See you.
Ciao.
See some of you.
Thank you,
Very much.
Denis. Thank you, Bojana. Thank you, Vincenzo.
Bojana.
Thank you, Nigel.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, Hannah.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Anna.
Bye.